Hello there, good evening, and welcome back to Celtic World Order podcast. As always, I'm Steve O'Matt, and as you can see, I'm joined all the way from the middle of the North Sea, my bearded brother, my right hand man, the banner with the bald head, you name him, whatever you want. It's Paddy Boy. This season's back. Real football, Paddy, has started. Yes, it's kicked
Oh, mate.
off. It's the first day of the season, but there's only 2 games on, and there's only one 3 o'clock kick off. And thankfully, the death that is Livingston are getting beat 2-0 off Kilmarnock. I mean, it's we want stabbed their shots, 2 garbage teams, but I hate Livingston, so I'm just good to see they're getting defeated. But the real stuff starts tomorrow. The real stuff starts tomorrow at Parkhead. Celtic defend the title. St.Mirren come to town. The maestro comes to town to unfurl the flag. And mate, I'm just ecstatic, despite the backdrop of uncertainty, despite all the shit that's been going on with the lack of movement and stuff like that. It's just good to be back to real football, isn't it, mate?
Oh, 100%, mate. I was talking to one of my pals on here as well. He's a baddie, he's for the other side, but it's just so good to have the football back. It's something that you miss, especially in this job. Like we obviously work away from home and stuff, so it gives us a wee thing to look forward to every weekend, and you kind of set your time by it. Do you know what I mean? So it's buzzing, mate. Absolutely fantastic. The wee rig football curtains on the go and stuff again, and everybody's buzzing. So aye, I'm ecstatic. Can't wait till tomorrow. Like you say, the maestro back in town as well. Absolutely fantastic. It'll be good to see Paul.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Well, they had to do something, didn't they? The board had to wheel out. There was big question marks. Who's going to unfurl the flag? I mean, who are they? What big? Oh, look at this! Look at this! Are they going to do to sort of take away from the sort of off-field issues? Because let's face it, it was never going to be one of them that were going to do it because we get booed
Oh
right out of the
no.
stadium. But no, it's always a pleasure to have one of my childhood, boyhood heroes, Paul McStay, going there, and I can't wait to see that. Yeah, as we says, the baddies kick off the day at 5:30. They're away to Motherwell. But we'll see how that one pans out. It's irrelevant. We've got to focus on ourselves, and we will. There's plenty to talk about in the build up to that game. But before we do, as always, you know by now, the wee bit of housekeeping at the front end. We didn't quite get to the 2,000 mark for the kickoff. We're currently 1,913 subscribers, so we were that close. But you can help build that. Hit the subscribe button. Costs you absolutely nothing. Absolutely zero. The content's all free. It just helps us out. If you like what you're seeing here, give it a thumbs up. Share it. You know that by now. Spread the word. We're on X at CWPod1888. Spotify, Instagram now, I'm told. We're on Blue Sky and Paddy's infamous TikTok, as always. Plenty of ways to connect with the channel, and hopefully you do it. If you want to help the channel moving forward for this season, you can do the member section, completely optional. So we $1.99 donation just puts everything together, helps us buy equipment, helps us buy stickers, helps us buy t-shirts, stuff to get out there and spread the word of the podcast. So Paddy, let's get down to business. Get your comments in nice and early. I want to try and make this interactive. Paddy might drop off because he's out in the middle of the North Sea, but he's assured me he'll come back in. I'm still recovering. I've got 900 pillows under me, so I might see me standing for now and then. Don't worry, it's just what happens with a back recovery. But Paddy, let's get on about it, and I'll just start off afresh. How do you feel, mate? Are we prepared for St. Mirren? I know it sounds like a daft question, but how prepared are Celtic for this opening campaign?
Yeah, listen, we could be better prepared, obviously. As fans, we want everything, all the business done quite rapidly. And it's something that we haven't seen this season or previous seasons. It's what Celtic do, Steve. Obviously, we've done the podcast before, yourself and me, with Smoke and Mirrors, the deception of Celtic's transfer business and things like that. It's just one of the things, mate. We're going in. Do I think we've got enough in the tank to deal with St. Mirren? Yes, I do. Do I think we've got enough to deal with the rest of the league? Yes, I do. Am I worried about the Champions League? Yes. But it's one of the things, mate. Listen, I'm sure we'll get on to the topic as well, as the tagline said, talking about the manager. Even Brendan showed his frustrations. I mean, so
exactly.
it's only natural.
It's going to be a funny one today, isn't it? Because we've got to be realistic. We don't want to just be happy clapping and yay, football's back, because there's still a backdrop of uncertainty.
Yeah.
As you say, Paddy, we're going to surely have enough in the tank to take care of St. Mirren. You know what you're going to get from a Robinson team. They're going to be very well drilled. They're going to be stuffy. They're going to be physical. But, you know, curtain raiser at home, flag day, trophy out on the pitch, sunny day, hopefully. Aye, you normally expect you to take care of business there, but let's go and have a look at it. And let's dive straight into it right now, because as it says there on the tagline, you see it, Brendan doesn't miss. The message is clear ahead of St. Mirren. And what we're talking about is obviously this press conference that he done yesterday. He done that with Sky, we've done it with various outlets, and to put it lightly, as it says, the manager did not miss. It was a direct shot at that board. It was pretty clear where he was at. Let's bring it up if you haven't heard it. We've taken two of the key bits away from it. And Paddy, I want to know what you think about this. I know it's sort of, you need to read between the lines here. It was like as subtle as a brick through a window. But what the man's saying there is there's conditions that we want to be able to improve, because it's not the type of, I'm not the type of manager who is good at maintaining things. Anything. It's just, if it's just something to maintain, I'm not the manager of Celtic. It will be someone else. But to build and grow and develop and push, then of course I love being at Celtic. So even that time, if the time comes when the club offer me a deal or not, it doesn't make a difference to me, because every day of my life I will give everything here to the very last day. So when the club feel that there's time to make an offer, then they will do. Paddy, straight in. It's stark, isn't it? I mean, it's not really, it's maybe not the tact that we wanted to see, because irrelevant to how you want to frame that, the vultures will circle, the media will grab onto it. Let's be honest, every other team in the league will think that that's a crack in our armour. Is it really the tact? Has the manager had to go to that, let's call it DEFCON? Has he had to hit the big red button and go, you know what, I'm fed up. I just need to say that.
I think so. At the end of the day, Brendan Rodgers is a Celtic fan as well. He's in there doing a job, and do you know what? He hasn't minced his words. He's put it perfectly clear, and he's done this before as well. What I did like from his interview is obviously saying, "Listen, I've done my 2 years. I'll do my third, and then if the offer comes, then we'll look at it. If it doesn't, it's all right." He's basically made his bed now, and he's like, "Yeah, do you know what? I've done what I said I was going to do," and he has. Now, you remember back to that day when he stood outside Celtic Park when people were doubting him, and he said, "I'll see you back here in May."
Yes.
And that, to me, mate, that still resonates, and he's done exactly what he said he was going to do. And you can't help but feel for him. You can't help be frustrated as a fan, because obviously if Celtic go out and lose the first 5 games of the season, it falls on the manager.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to turn around and say, "Well, I told you what I needed." And that's the be all and end all of it. He's done what he said he was going to do. So I just wish they would back him.
I mean, and the problem is he's came out and he's drew a line in the sand now. It's very clear, and there was multiple. You know, the thing is clearly, I wouldn't say he's a script, but he is something he wants to say. And where you watch the Celtic TV interview where he sits down, or you watch the Sky Sports, or you watch the BBC, so pretty much word for word exactly what he says to every single one of them. Now he's made it abundantly clear. He says, for the avoidance of doubt, for full transparency, I've not had a contract offered to me. Now, again, I just want to come straight in here. At this moment in time, where we are, where we've been in terms of the development, particularly looking at how we've done with Europe and want to push on. So do you not find it completely and utterly baffling at this stage that hasn't even been a genuine conversation? Maybe there's been a conversation, but there's not been an offer there. Now, I think it's fair to say, and I'll probably speak for the vast majority of Celtic fans here. If I'm not, let me know. Celtic have possibly the best manager that's available to them at this moment in time. In situ, bought in, wanting to develop, doing good things. He needs backing. Now, we'll get on to that. But is it just ridiculous that we could let this guy walk?
100% it is. You heard him in some of his interviews as well. He said, "I've sat down with Dermot and Michael and we've had conversations." But the fact is, what have the conversations been about? Because they've certainly not acted on any of the ones that he spoke about players, and he clearly wants to be the Celtic manager with the backing. If he can get the backing, I think we can progress. And we spoke about this previously, Steve. Putting the money in just now, using the money that we won last year, the money we had sitting in the bank, using a portion of it to try and better the squad before the Champions League qualifier, so that we can have the better chance to actually go and progress a little bit further. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go quarter-finals, semi-finals, final in it, but give us a chance. Give us a shot at it.
Well, That's the thing. And just to address some things I'm bringing in, I just want to bring this up for McLaughlin, one of our regular followers. We really appreciate it. Now, he says here everything is just negative all the way through from the fan base to the manager, and it's been that way all summer. Now, what I just want to come in, we love the debate, bring it in. Please, McLaughlin, give me your reasoning behind that. It's easy to just throw that out there. That's what we're all about in Celtic World Order. We want these back and forwards. We're not here to tell you we're right. We're not here to tell you that you're wrong, and vice versa. But what else have we got to speak about? This is the reality that we are finding ourselves in. It is the harsh reality that we find ourselves in. We have got a manager. What do you want Brendan Rodgers to do? Do you want him to just turn and say, I love the squad I've got. I don't need anything else. The board are doing great. They're fully backing me. That's not true to life. He's telling us as fans the reality that he's working in or trying to work in. And we as fans are commenting on what we see. And the reality is there's been some good results. But in terms of improving this squad, moving this squad forward, showing a statement of intent, there is nothing positive to write home about. You can shelve Tierney. You can shelve Negrin. You might say, well, you're wanting your cake and eating it here. But the reality is, January, we wanted in Tierney. We didn't get it. Why? Because we wanted to be tight about it. We still got him. It was shrewd business. And Negrin was opportunistic. It was shrewd business. Good additions to the squad, but we're still in a negative to where we were last season. The squad is still weaker, and these guys don't fully bring us up to where we are. They just get us in touching distance to where we are. So please tell me why I should be sitting here and be full of positivity, and we'll get around. But Paddy, on that, do you think is the negativity or is the grey clouds that have been cast over the summer, are they justified, or are we just miserable bastards?
Probably a bit of both, if I'm being honest, mate. I think as Celtic fans, we just demand the best for our squad. We really do. We demand improvement. We demand we get better season upon season upon season. And we just want to see results for saleable assets. We've got rid of Nicholas Kuhn, and now we're holding on to Yang. We're holding on to Tilio. These guys, for me, aren't a replacement for Nicholas Kuhn. Nowhere near it. Listen, Yang's been okay. He's been decent. He's come in and done a bit of a job. And you know what? I would like to keep him in the squad. I really would. But the fact that you're holding on to a guy like Tilio says to me that you're in a bit of a shit state, if I'm being honest. We know we've got Jota out on the left-hand side as well. And who have we brought in to replace him? There hasn't been anybody brought in. We've got Dyson on there, but Dyson wants to play through the middle because of the Japan squad up and coming. It just seems to me that we've lost players in certain positions and we haven't really replaced it. You can bring in as many left backs, right backs, centre mids as you want, but at the end of the day, we need wingers and we need a proper proven striker as well.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, as I said, for the balance here, I like to see this, bringing that in there. Strangelove, he's saying he's happy with pre-season and the transfers for so far. Wingers aside, that we need wingers. We are incredibly thin, as you've just said. The Yang situation, there was interest there from Norwich. It looks as if they've pivoted, they've moved away. Why? Because, well, we are not in a position to sell, which is probably, whether you like Yang, where you think there's a player in there, where you hate him, it probably is a sad indictment on where we are in that position, that we're holding on to him, but it's a sadder indictment on where we are, that Marco Tilio is getting held on to. I mean, if I was to say to you at the start of the summer, or even last summer, by the way, you're going to find yourself one day before kick-off of the new season, and Marco Tilio's not going to be allowed because you do not have cover. He's not going to be allowed to leave. You would have called me mental. You would have called in the white coats to take me away, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would, mate. And listen, regardless of what the young lad's done away from Celtic, he's for me another Mikey Johnson, and I say it on here all the time. The Celtic jersey's heavy; it doesn't shrink to fit inferior players, and for me, I feel like that's part of the problem with the young guy. He's eager to please, he comes in, but I just don't think he's Celtic quality. Now, that's not saying going forward that I could be proven wrong. Listen, I'd love it if the young lad come in and done a job for us, but I really think we need to get the finger out here and just go for it. Just buy the wingers, put in the extra couple of million that the teams are asking for players and stuff, and stop being tight.
Yeah, love it, love it. Terry, thank you. He's gifted 5 memberships. If you get them, you are incredibly lucky. Thank you to Terry. We'll love that. Starting off, injecting some positivity in it. Do you know what? Let's do it. Let's inject some more positivity into it here. We've got a couple of extra CWO t-shirts over the summer. We've got some together. We've got some new design stuff's coming out. Let's just give one away. See if you want one. Comment and just say yes. And we'll pick somebody at some point. So let me see what we've got here. Let's go with this black one. Traditional CWO logo t-shirt. There you go. If you want that, just say yes. And hopefully enough of you do want it. And we'll pick one. We'll send it to you absolutely for nothing. Inject a wee bit of positivity into this stream there, Paddy. But no, the thing is it's true. We're in a position where we find ourselves really swirling about and saying we're holding on to these guys. We're holding on to somebody that should be nowhere near the squad. You know, Yang, you can debate that. Is he the strength? Is he the quality that's going to push us on through the summer into the new season? You know, through the domestic, is he going to be a guy you can hang your hat on? Is he going to level us up for Europe, whether it's getting over the qualifying or getting into Champions League proper and making a fist of it? Probably not. The manager's crying out for it. He's came out, he said quite clearly, if you want somebody to just maintain something, I'm no your man. If you want to push on, you want to do it. Now, what he did then say is he doubled down. He says, I have to convince the board to push and get the players in that we need to fill the gaps that we have. And clearly, I'm not doing that well enough, but I will continue to push. I'm fairly confident that we'll do the business to fill those gaps with the necessary quality that will move us forward. What do you think his language there now? A lot of people will say, oh, jump on language and body language and all that garbage. But the reality is we can only take in the information that's presented to us, come to some sort of conclusion, because we don't know. We're not in the know. Very few folk will know, and take it as you find it and come to a reasonable enough sort of assumption on what's happening. Previously, the word that he was saying was hopefully. I counted one interview, he said hopefully 6 times for talking sake when he was talking about transfers. Now he says he's fairly confident. Paddy, I know I'm flogging a dead horse here. Is he getting it?
I don't know, mate. You think back to the years previous when we thought there was a bit of disrepute in the dressing room because Brendan kept saying we need quality. We need to get quality. Now that seemed at the time a dig to the players that we had on the park, but it wasn't. He's wanting to make additions to the squad. He's wanting to bring in quality so they can make the squad better than it was the previous season. And you can see that as well. And like I said, he's frustrated. He is frustrated. Like you said, Steve, using the word hopefully when you're talking about transfers, that's classic Celtic. Oh, hopefully they take the 2 million that we offered for that £6 million player. You know what I mean? That's just the kind of state of the transfer business that we're in. But you can only hope going forward that the board have seen something and that they trust Brendan. I know there's been a few issues with some signings, and I'll not mention any names, but some people haven't hit the ground running. But
yeah, Paddy, it's all right. You can say it. You can say it. You can say
I'm not going to say his name because people will leave the chat again. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, as we're going to get around the houses, I says it's going to be a whirlwind. We're only talking about this earlier. It's been a while. We've almost been a week. We're catching up. We've got a lot to catch up on. No, but to come back and go full circle on this, when it comes to what's been happening with the manager, it's went from asking, politely suggesting, to that was, you could call it a pipe bomb if you want to get in that wrestling CM Punk route. He basically did not miss. It was, as I say, like a brick through a front window. It was that subtle. I just think that we need to start moving. Who the quality is going to be. We've got in, let's talk about him right now, Jemai Simpson Pussy. Not pussy, get your head out of the dirt. You know, we made a joke about it ourselves and say Celtic want a big, strapping, strong, experienced centre half. Celtic opt for a pussy. We made that joke, right? We did it. We'll hold our hands up. No, Simpson Pussy, he comes in. Now, there was talk of us Celtic. Apparently, the man in the Trilby was meant to be looking at the Harambe defender Eriksson, who scored a late winner in a European qualifier. That was very quickly rubbished. Whether it was true or just keeping your cards close to your chest, that appeared to be rubbished by the player and his agent after the event. But he was meant to be there, so that begs the question, who are they looking at? What's going on there? Interesting if he is sending Tisdale out to go and look at players. Obviously suggests that he trusts the guy, but Simpson Pusey is coming in for Man City. Again, it pretty much is done. I think we may well get an official announcement. You might see him out in the pitch tomorrow. But he comes into his for City. If in doubt, break glass, hit the Man City own button. Now, what I will say, Paddy, is we've done no too bad over the years for City, have we?
Of course
But
we have.
it's short-term thinking. Do you think the boys got the required quality at least to fight for a first team place, if not be a solid backup for both Europe and domestically?
Well, listen, I don't know how much truth's in this, but I'd read something somewhere that there is no obligation or option to buy after this loan as well.
None, and that's because they really, really highly rate him.
Yeah, so basically, then Man City want to send him out to get a bit of game time. Now, is he a right back?
He's a centre half, mate, but he can play
He's
left
centre
and
half.
right. So, as I
He's a
always do,
right-sided centre half. Sorry, yeah.
as to always do, just I'll smash it. Quick stats to mash for you. 19-year-old centre back. English, he has 103 career appearances at all levels. Predominantly Premier League 2. He's been at City since 2021. 7,315 minutes under his belts, 3 goals for what it's worth. He's a defender, 2 assists again, what it's worth. He's a defender. He's had 8 appearances for the first team. Sparse to say the least. 112 minutes in the Champions League, 95 in the Premier League, and 106 in the Cups. That's what he's got. He can play left or right, and he's 3 under 18s England caps. He's captained their PL2 side for, I think, 1 or 2 seasons, and they obviously highly rate him. If you go and look for any quotes on him from Pep Guardiola, he very much sings this guy's praises. So that's why there's no obligation to buy, because it's just simply, we want this guy. We want him to get a proper bit of testing in a big man's league and some Europe.
Yeah. Well, listen, if it's good enough for Pep, he's good enough for me. That's kind of where I'll hang my hat there. So basically, he's going to come in as cover for Carter Vickers. That's kind of what I see here. And listen, I've not seen much of the young lad, but if he's came for that kind of calibre and he's getting into the Man City squad, albeit in cups or kind of latter stages in games and things like that, then fair enough. So I mean, he's coming in with a decent standard. He's coming in with a decent stature. He's a big lad, and like you said, Steve, the name will sell a few jerseys as well. You'll have a few of the Pusey patrols kicking about. So
yes, you may have the Pusey patrols on there, but the question is sorry, as I say, I know it's unsightly seeing me stand up, seeing my midriff and all, but as I say, I need to get up every now and then. It's just the way this thing at this moment. I'm trying to get back to looking like CWO rather than a big awkward me in my bed sort of situation. But
Charles Green,
so just bear with us. But no, personally speaking, with Simpson Pusey coming in, I'm underwhelmed. Of course I'm underwhelmed, right? Of course I am, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie, but that doesn't mean not to be negative. I'm not being fully negative about it. It's fine to be underwhelmed. I know it's a negative sounding term, but I do believe that he's got the required quality. I think that in terms of domestically, we look at certain guys in that back line and it's going to be Tierney and Carter Vickers. They're the 2 guys that we're really going to have to nurse and look after.
Yeah.
It would be foolish to try and go to the well every single week with them, to make them play all the time, every single game on some of the horrendous pitches that we're going to be getting. We don't want these guys to be burning out. Tierney, we know his history. As I say, each season is deceptive. You would think he was always out for a long time, but he has had wee periods. Carter Vickers over the past 2 seasons has been in and out. We saw that injuries. We've kept him for a couple of games, a couple of weeks here and there. So you really need to nurse that. I think it's a shrewd move. We've got rid of Narodsky, we've got rid of Lagerbielka. We'll get Welsh, we'll talk about him as well. Looks like he's moving on, but it looks like a solid option here. Now, the big question is it for a direct replacement for either Trusty or Scales to try and work with 2 quality elite defenders? I know you say, he's 19, Steve, can he be elite? But what I mean is high prospect type guy. Think of Denier, think of Van Dijk when they came in. You would have said the same. Yes, he's in that kind of mould potentially. Is he going to play alongside Carter Vickers, or is he going to be the backup? Now, the question I would say is Man City ain't letting this guy come to Celtic without a guaranteed minutes and appearances, because it's just not happening.
So that's the thing for me. Like, looking at it, they must be coming with. He has to play so many Champions League games. He has to play so many league games. There's going to be little things in there. You don't want your hand to be forced. Like, oh, we need to play. You're saying this game because Man City have told us that we have to. Do you know what I mean? You want to be able to pick your squad yourself, but obviously there is going to be things in there. The guy comes with high standing, like you say, Steve. I'll be excited to see him. Be excited to see what he brings. I think personally that he's going to be a backup for Carter Vickers. I think we'll have our main other defender in there. We trusty.
That's what Joe's saying. He's saying he seems to have been a sub for Trusty and Scales. Now, in fairness to Trusty, decent pre-season. It's up to him to kick on and cement that place. But depending on what Simpson Pusey's got to offer, he could go one of two ways. He could play alongside Carter Vickers or be a guy that's going to cover from. But I think reading some of the comments, people are obviously a wee bit more in the know than me, like Michael Duffin, etc. He's saying that, he's got some friends at Norman. Apparently, he's a class act from that sort of down city way. So there is a lot of hype around this guy. And I think when you look at it logically, as Strangelove was saying as well, it's a good signing. It gives you quality without the commitment to the layout of the outlay, But the problem, if you want to call it that, is they're on about swirling about the situation with the manager. I'm all for getting in quality players on loan, and we'll touch on some of the other names, ridiculous names sometimes, that have been linked with Celtic. But it is short-termism. Yeah. And that is the problem, because it would suggest that the manager is possibly not going to be here for next season. So Celtic are maybe thinking, as daft as it sounds, let's get good quality in on loan, because when he leaves, then we can give the money to the new manager. He said, don't hold your breath on that. But in principle, give the money to the new manager to get the players that he wants, because Brenda could go and sign a guy here, there, and everywhere. And a new manager, if there is going to be a new manager, it might still be Rodgers, could come in and go, no my cup of tea. And then you might have pissed X million pound up against the wall.
Exactly. Like you say, Steve, the loan deals, actually, they've worked out well for us in the past. Obviously, we've had options to buy for some of them as well. You look at guys like Paolo Bernardo, we've looked at guys like Jota, Carter Vickers and things. These are all guys that we got in on loan that come in and done a job. Adamida even, like, come in and done a job, managed to secure his deal as well. So there's a few, Odson Edward as well, do you know what I mean? Like, you think way back as well. These were guys when we were using our contacts to go to teams like PSG and Man City and things like that to chance our hand and get one of these superpowers, shall we call them, these quality young players that these teams have been nursing. So, listen, it's exciting. It's a signing for me that you look at, and like I said, I don't know much about him, but the prospect of where he's come from and the fact that they're saying, no, you can't buy him after this year is quite good for me.
I'm positive. I am positive about him. I know there's a lot of naysayers out there, and they're going, "Oh, typical," and it's cheap now, and it's
cheaping out.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We look at the guy for Red Star, the young chap, 19, talking about £7-8 million. That quickly get water thrown on top of it, and it gets sort of put to bed. But that's the kind of way you look at it. Is I don't know how much Simpson Pusey would cost if he says to Man City, "Oh, we actually want to buy him, right?" But let's just say it was £8 to £10 million. Folk are going to be far more positive about that than they are on getting somebody on loan, because ultimately what happens to these guys, you get them on loan, you get them in, and you kind of, I'm not saying, hopefully we do, but you can fall in love with these guys and you go, fuck, can I get them? You know what I mean? But welcome back, Welsh. So you get that. But this is the question, and people are bringing it up here. What does it mean for Dane Murray? Because Dane Murray had a great pre-season, bulked up, looked tidy. And where does that put him in the pecking order? Because now you think about it, you have Carter Vickers, you have Pusey, you will have Scales, Trusty, and then are we going to keep 5? Are we going to keep Murray about? Because Welsh is meant to be going to League One to Plymouth Argyle on loan. So 5, you happy? Do you think we'll run with that? Because certainly I don't think, if you look at 5, we're not bringing somebody else in at centre half. It's not happening.
No, I think we'll run with that for the season. I think Big Dave Murray's done enough to actually secure himself a slot. I think he was very very calm, very composed, no nonsense, which obviously I like. People that watch the podcast will know that obviously one of my favourite defenders is Rudy Vata, because he was one of the players. He was just no nonsense, get the ball away. And the big man looked comfortable like that. He was decent on the ball, and he wasn't scared to just lump it out the park as well. I thought he gave us probably a better option in the opposition's box as well than what we have with guys like Trusty and Carter Vickers. He looked as if he was willing to attack the ball a bit more. Obviously got a goal during pre-season as well. I was impressed with the young lad, very impressed, and I'd like to see him obviously get a chance, whether it be in the cup runs or something like that, but I'd like to see a bit more from him.
Definitely, and he's rightly getting some positive comments here. I genuinely think that he's a great looking player. It's similar to Anamura. Is he the answer for what we need right now? Well, no matter how good a pre-season both have had, the answer's no, they're not. They're simply not. Could you get away, and I hate using that term, but could you get away with playing them, for example, in the cup game that's upcoming? Aye, you could. Let's do that. Go for it.
You don't want to lose the game at the end of the day. Let's be honest. You don't want to put out a team. We've seen it previous times. We've seen Brendan change 9 players and fire them into a cup game against Falkirk, and we're 2-0 down at half time. You think back to that, we get saved by Nicholas Kuhn. On the young lad in Amura, obviously, like yourself and Paul have been on here talking about him as well, and I've seen loads of comments in the chat about the young lad. I think he's been one of the positives for me this pre-season. He's been outstanding. Looked comfortable on the ball, looked good going forward, decent delivery, not scared to cut inside into the middle of the park and stuff as well, and good link-up play. He's just one of the players that seemed to hit the ground running, as if he was moulded to play that role, wasn't it? He's just kind of stepped into the squad and went, yeah, this is where I belong. Now, obviously, he's not going to take first team place because that's Kieran's place, so he's in there as a backup, but for me, I watched the boys in the bus last night as well, and Liam even spoke about him. Liam had said like he's a good replacement. He's better than Taylor. Now we know Liam's a Taylor hater.
Oh, he loves him, doesn't he? He loves him.
But for me, he's a step up from that. He seemed to be a very good replacement, and it's not a like for like when you take off Kieran Tierney and bring on this young lad. But I'd be quite happy bringing him on at any point in the game because he seems quite comfortable. So, yeah.
Well, in terms of the defence, we mentioned it briefly. We've spoke about the deficiencies in the wing positions. We'll look at tomorrow. We'll have a wee cast ahead. Get in your chat thoughts on tomorrow, starting the lineup. The big questions: who's going to start through the middle or not? We'll talk about that. But one of the things here that's came through, right? Okay, so we're talking about the deficiencies. Holding on to Tillio, holding on to Yang's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We have seen ourselves getting burnt. Jacob Breum from Go Ahead Eagles, 21-year-old Danish winger. Celtic had 3 bids knocked back, and they have went in with their highest offer of 3 million. Now, Go Ahead Eagles have stood firm and says, no, we want to get anywhere between £6 to £6.5 million. And it looks as if that's indeed in the water. Celtic are going nowhere near that, probably, unless something by God happens overnight. Why is it they're digging their heels in? Well, there is a £2 million release that kicks in next season. So Celtic probably looking at it and saying, as they always do, wanting a deal. Why would we pay more for this guy when we can get him cheaper down the line? But also there's a sizable fee that's to go to his previous club as well. So they're trying to maximise their profit. Another winger that we were courted massively for the best bit of a full season and a half, Balakwisha. He is now said to be in advanced talks with an unnamed League One team in France who have also qualified for Europe. No, take your pick who that could be. There's multiple teams in France that have qualified for all the different competitions, Champions League, Europa League, Conference, but it's one of them. So there's our 2 guys, Paddy, that we appeared to be chasing, and we have just, how would we say it? Cowardice, but I've backed out of the race for both. It's no ideal, Paddy, is it? It doesn't fill you with confidence.
Celtic have obviously got the valuations of these players as well, and whether their valuation meets the club valuation of Go Ahead Eagles or Antwerp Balakwish, is that whatever Celtic's valuation meets that, then that's just down to what Celtic see from them. Like you said about the Royce clause in the boy for next year, that's that's all fine and well, and that should be your starting. But then you go, right, 2 million for that boy's fair play, but he's got a year in his contract. A year in his contract, he used probably worth 1.5 million, so we'll go 3.5, and that to me sensible thinking, rather than just go out there and spunk 6.5 million on the guy. Yes, we have it. Yes, I think he'd be a welcome addition. Yes, we do need a player in, but I can see Celtic's thinking around that one. The Balikwisha one for me is one that's been hanging over us for so long. Same with Fistigarten and a few others to say the least, but these names have always kept coming back, and it's always been yes, they're there, they're interested. You've seen Fabrizio Romano even released a tweet about Balikwisha, terms agreed and things like that, and then nothing came of it. I mean, I think Balikwisha had mentioned that he wanted to come to Celtic, but the teams couldn't come to an agreement, and that's basically down to Celtic's penny pinching again.
Paddy, what I want to talk about now, I don't want to waste it, and I'll address this at the end because there's a lot he's mentioned the board and stuff like that. Don't you worry, I've got something in the can that's coming up that we'll discuss that. But one of the interesting things that have come out over the course of that week there was some information. Now, this information is obviously getting said by a certain person to a certain person. There's an underlying reason. You don't leak out information. Perhaps you're wanting to out a rat or whatever you want to call it, where it's been said that Celtic have in place a policy whereby if a transfer fee is up to the mark of £3 million, going there, sign in the door. If it's over £3 million, it has to be ran by, ratified and signed off by Dermot Desmond. Right, now this was obviously came out of various outlets, and one of them was the Celtic Underground, Harry Brady and the likes. And whether you like them or not, whether you think they're in the know or full of nonsense, it's irrelevant. That information's come out there, and generally speaking, the Celtic Underground and the people that are in and around that podcast or whatever platform you want to call it do have a decent wee bit of credence behind them. They've been good for it over the years. And it just seems bizarre now. I don't want to talk about the board because we have a board-specific episode that's going to be coming out. Get yourself subscribed, hit the bell icon, get notified for that coming out. And we are going to deep dive the board. We are going to tell you what you need to know about the board. We are going to tell you who's on the board, how long they've been there, all that kind of stuff, and ask the big hard questions about how fit for purpose they are in running it. But Paddy, in terms of this revelation, if you want to call it that, that's come out, Dermot Desmond is a majority shareholder, not an owner.
Yeah.
So why, excuse my phrase, why the fuck are we allowing him to control who manages us, how much we spend? At the end of the day, he is an investor.
Yeah.
And I know it's
pretty much all.
It's an old pals act, right? So they don't want to upset their pal. That's the reality of it here. By God, grow some fucking balls, Celtic, man. What's the worst that happens? You go and sign him and he goes, oh, I wasn't happy. Oh, good for you. No worries.
Aye. It's very much an Oliver Twist, isn't it? It's please, sir, can we have some more? Standing there with a begging bowl out, can we go get this? That to me, whether there's much truth in it or not, I think it seems a bit farcical. Nobody should have that power at Celtic, in my opinion. If a player's been identified as one that is going to strengthen our squad and help us go forward, then that should be the be all and end all of it. Where they cost 3 million or 30 million, Celtic should have the capacity to go out there and actually bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody, like you said, he's only a majority shareholder with something like 34% or something.
Yeah.
That to me just seems silly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not how a business should be ran. Yes, we're ran very, very well financially and whatever, but I don't think he should have much of a say to what we do on the pitch.
So, Paddy, the thing is, I don't want to deep dive this too much. No, we're going off on a wee tangent, but that's fine. That's the quality of talking about Celtic. You never know what's going to take you. Just on that, and it's been voiced on many different platforms over the course of the week, and we just want to get our wee tuppence in. I cannot understand why we have one guy who wields so much overarching power. Now, you will see when we talk about when we bring up our video that's board specific, you will see the old pals act, you'll see the links, you'll see the length of time that people are there, and essentially nobody wants to rock the boat. It's quite as simple as that. But as I says, and I have a theory now, I know there's people that are in this comment that completely disagree with it, but again, I will say, no disrespect to anybody, plug your head in if you actually believe that it's anything other than what I'm about to say. Don Mackay came in from Scottish Rugby, right? Not exactly young, but young in terms of by comparison to some of the people that are on Celtic's board, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of a progressive thinker, a forward-thinking guy. He comes in, he does certain small things, invites in the fan media, has them sitting down, and again, for speaking to other people that were at that first meeting, it wasn't just an invite and an email, it was a personalised phone call. This is Don Mackay on, changing things, brings in, buys some players, tries to do it right. Now, there's this conspiracy or this theory that I've seen for certain people, whether it's commenters, whether it's other podcasts, where it's Don Mackay was a fallacy. Don Mackay was just a guy that they got in as a lackey, as a fall guy to smoke screen everybody and say Celtic are changing and then get rid of him so they can bring in their guy. I'm sorry, come on, listen to what you're trying to say. Do you honestly think Celtic go and take a guy for a high position in Scottish Rugby, probably paying him a nice heavy wage and say, by the way, wait to hear this brilliant plan that we've got, right? We're going to get you to come in and you're going to look and you're going to revolutionise everything. You're going to look at a fresh new face so that we get everybody on side. And then we're going to sack you, by the way. And we're going to make you sign an NDA so that you can't tell us what happened there. Fuck off. Don't talk shit, right? Like, the people actually believe that. Don Mackay, in my opinion, came in with fresh thinking ideas and is the CEO making executive decisions on operations. He's probably looked around the board. What's your name? How long you been here? Yes, I've been here since 2020. Oh, right, have you? Right, okay, cool. How about you? I've been here since 2006. Oh, really? And what do you do? So on and so forth. And went, not fit for purpose. We need to change you. Why do we need to change you? Because that's what normally happens in big business. Boards are meant to be passive. You have a tenure, you're there for maybe 4 or 5 years, but the reality is the vast majority of Celtic's board have been there for 20 years or more. Don Mackay came in and started rattling some cages and actually wanting to do things properly. And they went, we can't have that, because all the pals converged in a mutiny and they've basically went, by the way, this guy's maybe talking about changing me out or sacking me. Is that fucking right? No, the pals got together. That's my take on it. It's the only logical take that I can think of. But I digress, Paddy. As long as we've got the shackles of one man who isn't an owner, I keep saying it. Why? Because everybody's feared to upset him. Celtic won't develop. And I want to ask you this question, Paddy. Aside Dermot Desmond, because I think Dermot Desmond wants Rodgers there, do you think the rest of that board want Brendan Rodgers there?
Oh, I think the board want a yes man. I think they thought by Brendan being a fan and coming in with his stature and stuff, they could cheer him up and throw him the scraps for the table. Now, obviously, Brendan has done really well in the Champions League last year. Got us a double, almost a treble again. And I think now he's starting to demand a little bit more. I think, like you said, he'll be rattling the cages. He'll be doing the same as Don Mackay there, saying, listen, I need investment now, I need this. And the people at the high end of businesses don't like that. They don't like people to come in there and say, listen, I want to make you spend your money. Now, we know Celtic, as always, have been tight-fisted bastards when it comes to it. But if Brendan's in there rattling the cages, then they need to start either investing or, like you said, they won't offer him a contract either.
Mm-hmm.
But the board's the board, Steve-O, and I'm looking forward to you doing your breakdown of it as well. That's going to be quite a good one. Obviously, with the wee chat about it all day. So
strap yourselves in if you want a nice merry story. It's not going to be great. We're going to be sitting. I wouldn't quite say tearing strips off it, but we're going to look at it as we always try to do. We're going to look at it objectively and see what additional value do these folk bring to the board, because that's the biggest question. And it's quite surprising when you actually look at the other shareholders who are of a sizable note and what their backgrounds are, and you think to yourself, well, why the hell are we not tapping into it? But that's another story for another day. Let's get back to business. Wingers, Paddy, and of course we spoke about Simpson Pusey coming in on loan, giving us the required quality to help that position. Tillio, Yang, Balikwisha, no happening. When it looks at Jacob Bream, probably no happening. But some mental stories have came about by wingers. Now I just want to throw it out there because I would give them all very much a 3 out of 10 rating on actual possibility. Only a 3 because anything can happen. And as we say, he's the Monopoly man. He's got the moustache. And it's funny because he's also not only does he look like the Monopoly man, but he's a monopoly over Celtic's business dealings. However, the names that have been linked: Sterling, Chiesa, Grealish. See that one? We'll talk about Grealish. Get that right in the fucking bin because that's ridiculousness. You could even say Chiesa and Sterling are absolute ridiculous, pie in the sky nonsense. But as we've seen over the year, and as we've seen for good or for bad, Dermot Desmond isn't against a wee sort of high rolling, high tariff loan and or signing. Chiesa and Sterling, Paddy, guys that are on the periphery of their squads, guys that aren't going to be featuring for Liverpool and Chelsea respectively. I'm sure they're swamped with offers, but again, Sterling's battered around about. Sorry, I think Sterling's at Arsenal now, is he not? Am I right in saying that? Right, well, they've battered around the Premier League and he's not done it, and Chiesa's just not hit the ground running, so maybe Italy would be his there. I mean, I would take both, don't get me wrong, but is it just madness talk, Paddy?
Listen, stranger things have happened. I'd love to see Raheem Sterling or Federico Chiesa come in at Celtic. I really would. I think obviously Sterling's got the links with Brendan as well. Ex-Liverpool, he was part of the setup there. Federico Chiesa, when he was at Juventus, was
talking after that tailing off on the field. Do you remember the training video?
Aye. But then you think back to last year's pre-season when Celtic played against Chelsea, and we schooled them, and Sterling was one of the first ones to come out and actually say that was a Brendan Rodgers team. That's the kind of team that we know and we.
Paddy's gone there. Technical difficulties. It's all right, Paddy. Don't you worry. You sort yourself out there, son. Right.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling had said he'd come out and said that was a Brendan Rodgers team, and it's a team that you'd love to play in. Very attacking, very good going forward. Players like that would bring so much. It really would. A lot of people will say, "Oh, he's past it. He's been doing there. He's not breaking into any of the teams down there. Why has nobody else went for him and whatever else?" We don't know. Federico Chiesa, on the other hand, is a phenomenal player. You just need to think back to the Euros, the World Cup. He's been phenomenal. He's been absolutely fantastic. He'd be a cracking addition to the squad, but the dream addition.
What do both of those players have in common? Is Celtic seem to have a love for, even with Balikwisha, massive injuries. Do you think with Celtic scout players, they say, how many times has he been injured? And that's like a big tick. Because I can't get my head around it. Paddy's froze. I'm going to move him now, but I'll continue with that. Some of these, some of these potential links, Chiesa, Sterling, do I genuinely believe they could happen? Yes, I do. If, and it's a big if Celtic's board want to do it. Now, I think at this moment in time, and again, it's a sad indictment perhaps of where we are, I think the manager, I think Brendan Rodgers will take anything that he can be given at this moment in time. He's asked the question, as it said there in the headline, he doesn't miss. He's been out there, he's smashed them clean in the face, and he has laid his cards out to what he needs. I think the potential for Celtic to get in the quality might well just be loans. Do I think if Celtic go out and commit to signing players, that will prompt Brendan Rodgers to sign? Potentially, but he will want assurances. But Paddy, as I say, these two guys, phenomenal talents, no doubt about it. And I think when you look at certain players that have came to Celtic previously, I keep coming back to it. One of the biggest ones is going to be Scott Sinclair, a guy that's high quality and down his luck. And bear in mind some of the ridiculous fees that Celtic have paid on loans previously. Now, I know we're casting our mind back a while, but Robbie Keane wouldn't have been cheap. Bellamy wouldn't have been cheap. And believe it or not, Charlie Musonda was a fucking fortune.
Yeah.
So, if Celtic wanted to, they could do it. Now, would you take one of these guys, Paddy, on loan at a high fee and a high weekly wage, at the detriment of maybe signing two other wingers?
Yes. If you can tell me you're going to bring in somebody of the quality of Federico Chiesa or Raheem Sterling, and not make two signings, like you said, hold the money for next year, in case Brendan's not here, then yes, of course you would. But these players, yeah, Chiesa's not getting a sniff in the Liverpool squad. Yeah, not many players would. Do you know what I mean? Sterling's not getting a sniff in the Arsenal squad. Again, not many players would. He's been kept out of that squad by guys like Bukayo Saka. I mean, there's reasoning why they're not in the squad. Yes, they're absolute outstanding quality, but they'd run amok in the SPL, mate. They would. They'd come up here and be world beaters.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
I listen, we can dream. That's the thing, isn't it? We can dream. It doesn't mean you're going to get it. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty. We've all had dreams, Paddy, but well, it happens or not. But let's get back to, before we roll through. Listen, by the way, remember, still, if you want the CWO t-shirt, there's a few easy of in for it. Yes, just say yes, and we'll pick somebody. So if you want that, remember, get that on. Keeping the positivity rolling here, Paddy. So anyway, back to sort of reality, or Celtic's reality. Wingers. Now, here's another thing. If we've had the if an emergency, break glass, hit the Man City button. If it's not that, it's go to Brendan's trusty Rolodex or his wee black book. Well, another one that you can always depend on is everybody's favourite agent. Doohan. Everybody's favourite that's brought us some questionable players in the past and also some decent players in the past. And recently, this one has broke out here. I just want to share this up on the screen. Who is it? Who are we talking about? Well, we have been linked with a guy called Parkhead, and he is currently playing his trade over in the Jupiler Pro League. He is from the Ivory Coast. He's 24 and he's a left winger. Now, why does this? Apart from it being a Doohan, his contract expires in 1 year. So he's right up Celtic's alley, and he's probably going to be quite inexpensive in and around the €3 million mark. So again, coming back to that chat off, if it's under €3 million, go ahead, boys, knock yourself out, get involved. That very much looks what we're talking here. It's hard to get excited, Paddy, with these guys, to be honest. Charleroi SC in the Jupiler Pro League. Here's just a quick oversight of his stats, but if we go down, let me go in there, profile, stats, let's go for all seasons and see what we can get from this chart, and tell me if this sounds like something that you might want a wee PC. So there you can see 173 appearances, 29 goals, 23 assists. Here's what we've got here, mainly in that Jupiler Pro League, a wee bit of Conference League qualifiers that have been underway there, from 2 appearances there, but not too much Conference League qualifiers again. Paddy, it's just another shot in the dark name, isn't it? But what do you think? Come on.
I know. These kind of ones, for me, Ricky, like Ismail Sorrow and things like that, it's players that you buy come the end of the transfer window to pacify the fan base. That's kind of all it is. Like you said, Steve, we'll set that £3 million mark, and it's, yeah, go ahead, boys, you can bring them in. But listen, one of them might come in and do a job. I've not seen much of them, but for me, it's not really ones that you're going to get excited about, is it? It's not really key.
Yeah,
it's filling a position with a player for a club.
And that's the thing. You know, Strangelove might know something. He's saying, no, he's pissed. Joe Donnelly saying, yes, please, he's a left winger. It starts to get to that stage, doesn't it, where you've got so many deficiencies that you just, I hate the phrase, but you'll almost take what you can get. Celtic shouldn't be taking what they can get, Paddy, should we?
It's like that advert, isn't it, with the two boys with Birmingham when they go into the lift, they're shouting 11, 11, 11, and then they go, oh, take us anywhere. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of the attitude that we're getting to there, isn't it? We want this winger, we want that winger. Oh, just give any winger. I mean, just bring MD in. And it's getting to that stage, it's getting farcical. But we're going to start the season with Yang, we're going to start the season with Forrest, we're going to start the season with Marco Tilio. So listen, let's get behind them. Let's do it. Become a member of the Yang Gang. Become a part of the Pusey Patrol. Let's just get this going. Let's be positive going into the game against St.Mirren.
Make it happen. Well, let's get on to the game. But before we do, just in transfer news or rumour, your pal, my pal, Adam Ida.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about it now. Again, how reputable or not these sources are is questionable. But we have seen chat that we all know Udinese. They have sold Lorenzo Luca to Napoli, and they need a striker. And if you believe the swirls and rumours, Adam Ida is a person of interest to them. I can know where this answer's going. The Celtic, would it be dangerous to sell Adam Ida, whether you rate him or hate him? Would it be dangerous to sell Adam Ida at this moment in time?
What I would like to see on it is Udinese will get a worse scouting system than us if they're highlighting Adam Ida as their replacement for Luca. I think Ida is going nowhere. I really do. A lot of the fans will say, "Come out, yes." I've spoke to people on here and they're like, I'll drive him there myself. I'll take him out and whatever. But listen, I know Joe as well's been a bit of I need a hater and he's going to eat his jersey if he scores 30 goals or more. I am
Love it. We've got it clip, mate. We're just going to. I'm going to say, we're not making me the whole top. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. We'll maybe cut off a sleeve or something.
I need the badge at least. But listen, I'd be quite happy for Ida to stay at Celtic. I think at this moment in time he has to, because let's be honest, who do we have as a replacement? Johnny Kenny, Yamada. So there's not really a replacement for Adam Ida in there. Yes, he didn't have the best season last year, but he got 20 goals. So if he could push on just that little bit, show a bit more passion, a bit more desire, a bit more push to get actually in the box and be there, because we're going to have a lot better deliveries this year. Benjamin Negrin's got a fantastic delivery of the ball. Arnie Engels can deliver a good ball. Kieran Tierney's been outstanding putting the ball into the box. So we're going to get a lot better service into the strikers. So for me, I'm quite positive actually going forward. I think Adam Ida can do the 30 plus this season.
I love this, Paddy. I love this conversion that you've had. I like it. I'm all for it. But let's get down to business before we wrap this up, because I'm acutely aware that whether you'll admit to it or not, I know the baddies are playing. You want to go and see them, right? You want to go and see it. But let's get down to game tomorrow, Paddy. So we've talked about the rumours, we've spoke about all that, we've got ourselves right up to date to where we need to be. The big question is who goes out on the pitch tomorrow?
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'll bring this straight up. This is what Strangelove's going straight in with. He's going with Casper, KT, Trusty, Murray. I like that, bold. Ralston, I think again, Ralston potentially because of Johnson not being up to speed. McGregor, Rio, Arne Engels, Maeda, Ida, and Nygren. Paddy, talk to me. Just run me right through it. How's this lining up for you tomorrow? Is there going to be any changes in some of the key positions?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be standardised. I think it's going to be kind of roughly what we're used to. Also, Kasper Schmeichel, I think, will keep his place. Do I think that's the right idea? Don't know. I'd like to see a bit more of Sinisawa. I think every time we've seen him, he's got progressively better. But it will be Kasper, let's be honest. First name on the team sheet is Kieran Tierney. He's coming home. He's going to have his big homecoming. That'll be lovely. But then Trusty. I think Carter Vickers will play. I don't think, obviously, he's been up to speed the last few times that we've seen him. I think Alistair Johnson will start as well. I think that will be your trusted back four. That's going to be the proper back four going forward. Middle of the park for me, Rio Hatate straight in there as well, because I think pre-season wise he was outstanding. Yes, I always do sing his praises, but I think he was phenomenal. I think we'll then go for Callum McGregor in there. Do I think he'll start Arnie Engels? Do I think he deserves the start? Probably not. I think Benjamin Negrin will probably start in there.
I agree. I think you've got to go with, people say pre-season's about minutes in the legs. Yes, it is. It's about getting up to fitness, but you've also got to show something. And I think it would be unfair to say that Engels showed anything beyond Hatate, McGregor and Negrin to justify putting one of them out. Totally.
So I think Benjamin Negrin will start in there. I really do. I'd be quite happy to see that. Up front, I think we'll have Yang. I think we'll have Adam Ida, and I think we'll have Tyson Maida.
I mean, is there any chance of us going mental and going for Yang, Forrest, and Maeda? No, I mean, if it was me personally, I would play Forrest, Forrest, Maeda, and Yamada. That's what I'd do. It's never going to happen. It's mental. That's what I would do. But do you see? Is it literally that predictable, Paddy?
I think so. I'd like to be proven wrong. I'd love to see more of Yamada. What we've seen from him seems positive. He's fast. Like, this guy's been said to be faster than Dyson, which to me just blows my mind. It just seems unreal. If he's got half the work rate, then we're in for a bit of a shock this season. I'd like to see more of him, but I think Adam Ida, Brendan's going to double down on him. I think Celtic are going to double down on Adam Ida this year. I think he has to show this is the season. We had said about Arnie Engels has to have a good pre-season. Once he gets that under him, he's going to be brilliant. He does the same for me. He didn't have a bad pre-season. He had a few chances here and there, he had a goal and whatever, but I think he done all right. I think he looked sharper. He looked fitter. He was getting involved a little bit more. So I'm thinking Ida's going to be your main number one striker with Yamada. Your number two.
Paddy, see an unlikely event that Ida didn't get the nod tomorrow.
Yeah.
What does that? Is this a real balancing act? Because obviously he's got to be managed right now. I think he's £9 million again. I've seen him. I hate saying the fee every time, but it's a fact. It is a fact, right? And for that reason, he'll think there's an expectancy on him. Fans don't think there's expectancy on him. The manager will want to prove a point that he was worth the money and so on and so forth. So I get that, right? But let's just say he doesn't. Let's say he didn't play tomorrow. That instantly says you can't be trusted. There's a lack of faith there. And again, let's just talk. Well, God forbid it ever happen, but you had injuries to Maeda, Shin, and you had nothing. And you have to pluck him out thin air and say, "I'll read you back in." It's a Champions League game, a game against Rangers, away to Aberdeen, whatever it is. How does that psychologically work for a big man if he weren't to be picked tomorrow? And also, how do you balance that? How many chances did I say he's starting off the game? How far into this new season do we go if there's? I think if we get new wingers in, it'll change the dynamic, and you'll probably just divert to Maeda through the middle. And I think Ida would accept that. But I'm thinking more along the lines of the new guys that have been brought in. Where you've got Osmond, I don't think he'll be there, but I'm talking more about Shin Yamada and potentially Kenny. You know, where does it work for him? How much do you try to get out of him before? I hope it works. I really do, but you get what I'm pointing towards here.
I understand. Listen, Adam Ida's obviously training with these guys day in, day out. He'll see what they've got. He'll see their attributes. And he'll see where he needs to better his own game. I think given the chance, Adam Ida will grab it. He'll grab it by the balls and actually go for it. And I'd like to see that, obviously. That's me trying to be really positive about him. I know I've kind of sung his praises here and there because minutes to goals ratio is pretty good. But I think that going forward, he has to get the bit between the teeth and cement his place as Celtic's number one striker, because nobody's really done that for us over the last couple of seasons. We've Dyson Maeda in there, we've Adam Ida in there, we've had Kenny coming in at some points as well, and now we're bringing in a guy like Yamada who offers a total different dynamic.
And see, I
think Yamada's going to be incredible.
See, with that, again, I just want to briefly touch on Adam Ida before we finish. Just again, question, just broadly speaking, how important, how quickly does he need to hit the ground? So again, what I'm saying is start him
Oh,
at a game
massively.
that he needs to play. But let's just say tomorrow, let's say he runs his legs off, plays 60 minutes, 5 minutes, nothing really happens when he doesn't do it. Shinya Mada comes on and scores a goal, right? And then you go to next week and you start him again, and then you bring Shinya Mada on and he scores a goal. This is what I'm
I think
saying.
that,
How
yeah,
important,
that's
how
that time
important,
when you have the
out of the
conversation.
opening 4 goals, to put it into context, then see how the opening 4 goals, Paddy, how many goals does Adam Ida need to score to prove a point?
At least one. It's going to come down to how many chances he's getting. We're wanting to hit the ground running. We want him to push on. And I think every Celtic fan wants that. Obviously, we want a team to do well. We want to see the players that we've got in there progress. Yes, I get your point. If your Armada comes in off the bench as a substitute and batters in a couple of goals, then obviously there's a conversation to be had. I think then you go into the kind of third or fourth game and you start your Armada up front and then you see what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
So then your Armada goes in there, he doesn't score for 2 goals, he comes off the bench and he scores, you just revert back and you just keep stopping and changing. I think there's a process in place for stuff like this. You want to call it Adam Mead as the core crew member, and these other guys are coming in, and they're the boys that are trying to take his slot. They're the boys that are trying to kind of knock him off the pedestal, essentially. So I think he's got the best chance, and I think going forward, if he's managed properly, like you say, Steve, you've got to not mollycoddle players like this, but you've got to kind of essentially blow smoke up his troop a little bit. So be quite happy starting with him, and let's just see what he's got. Let's see if he's got the player in there that we hope he is. Mm-hmm. And same with Arnie Engels. When Arnie Engels gets a start, let's hope that he comes in and shows us that he's got this bit between the teeth, that he's got the passion that it takes to become a proper Celtic player, because he's got the ability. They all have. They wouldn't be at Celtic if they didn't have that ability.
Definitely, Paddy. Well, I am thinking in terms of my lineup, very much, and plus what just a wee quick shout out there to 420. What, that's 13 months he's been supporting this channel and he's gifted a membership. Thank you very much. You're very lucky if you get that. We love the support. So says if you're a subscriber, you don't need to be a member. Just hit the subscribe. Cost you nothing. Let's get talking at 2,000. We're in touching distance off it. I think we're about 80 odd away. Let's do it. But anyway, Paddy, yeah, coming back, I think for me tomorrow, I think Casper Schmeichel, I think Kieran Tierney, Carter Vickers, Trusty, probably Ralston. Just I don't think that Johnson's up to speed. For me, my midfield is Nygren, it's Hatate, and it's McGregor. And as I say, what I would like to see versus what I'm going to get is 2 different things. But I would like to go with Yamada, Maeda, and Yang, or Forrest, interchangeable. I don't see it happening. I think he does going to get through the middle, but it is what it is. And I'm hopeful.
Pure pace up front, Steve.
I just want sheer attack. I don't. I think that I get that you want to bed in Adam Ida, you want to show faith, you want to get him, putting it St.Mirren, thinking it's a good opportunity for him to score. But I don't. I want to see Celtic smashing folk. I want high impact. I want absolute dominance. I want swashbuckling, you know what I mean? High energy football. And I just think kill them off nice and early, and I think we get that. I can imagine Maeda and Shinya Mada on about absolute potential carnage, and that's what I want. But what I want, what I get are 2 different things, Paddy. So anyway, we get ourselves finished up. Thank you, Paddy, for coming on all the way from work and joining us, and thank you everybody. Well over 100 live there, and I know a couple of minutes for the baddies. I know you want to go and see them, so go and see them. Thanks for putting up with me as well, getting up and down off my backside to sort of relieve my back. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as we say, there's a lot of people talking about the board. I have a board-specific special coming up. Keep your eyes open for that. Only way to do that is, wow, unbelievable. Thank you very much, Stephen J. there with a super chat. Hail, hail indeed to you, Steve. Thank you very much for the donation to the channel. We are completely and utterly honoured and privileged for such generosity. The positivity, Paddy, is killing things. It's running. Everybody's ready to go. And the positivity, listen, let's go for it. The T-shirt, let me have a look. Tell me when to stop, Paddy.
And stop.
It's the Slabbering Cabbage. Yes, what a name. You can have it. Slabbering Cabbage. on the X at CWPod1888. Send a wee message. Hit us up with your address and the CW t-shirt. I'll get slid out to you. That's us for the time. I will be cutting about. I will go to the game tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to work because I can't sit down for any more than a set period of time, as you well know. I'm going to put a pillow.
We have a standing section, Steve.
I know, Paddy, I know, but I've got that. I'm going to take a pillow. I know that sounds pathetic. I'm going to take a wee pillow in a rucksack and put it down so that I'm able to sit down. I'm all right and I can deal with it. And of course, I'll take some of the painkillers. That will help with the pain. If you see me about the stadium, speak to me because there will be loads of these. With us, CW stickers, hundreds of them. If you want any of them, just say hello and I'll give them for nothing. That's me. If somebody's going to recognise me, I'm not getting recognised by anybody. But if you happen today and you want to see the sticker, there you go, brilliant.
Listen, I have a pint spot for me and everything after these fantastic people. I mean, I'm going to
you're down with the kids and all that, do you know what I mean? But anyway, listen. Thank you very much for everybody. Well over 100. It's time to go and watch. I know you're going to do it, right? I know you're going to do it. Don't kid her, you're going to do it. Let's not worry what happens today. We take care of business tomorrow, Paddy. Come on, well, indeed, says Paul McGuire.
Up the steel, man. Come on, the steel, man. Definitely.
I love to say they're going to upset them, right? But I watched their European games, so probably get absolutely slaughtered for about 50 minutes and win 4-0. Right? So that's just going to happen. So there we go. The Slabber and Cabbage is there. CW at CW Pod 1888 on X. Give us a shout and we'll get a t-shirt sorted to you, bro. All right. So anyway, that's us for the day. Take care of yourselves. Paddy, pleasure to have you on. Tell them. Until next time.
As always, guys.